right. Oh.
Oh. Well, what?
April
Scissors
Fools.
to the beer? No.
Ain't happening. Yeah, right. You thought.
We got Big Head James tonight back here at Operation Magic with Big Bearded Josh. And, did you buy another one? I left my heart. You just haven't worn this one yet. Ooh. I wore my Scrooge McDuck the other day, but I love that shirt. That was my favorite designs that we've created at this point. Is that I left my heart in the briar patch.
Heart in the briar patch, man.
Damn right. Way back here with me, the one and only James Kemp. Alongside me, Josh Dunn. Here at Operation Magic. Heyo.
Small head.
Big head.
Big head.
I'm bobbleheading tonight. Bobby head, break your neck. Like Buster Rhymes in 1997, you know? However, we're into round 4 of the Elite 8 of this Disney Madness tournament. And boy, the cream has risen to the top. Hearts were broken that last round. Before we get into the hearts that were broken last round, let's kind of recap where our Elite 8 came from. So, in the Disney region, Josh, what do you think about this? We have Walt's bench clearing the deck all the way to the Elite 8. They've fended off the one and only Disneyland Railroad. They fended off the Disneyland opening day broadcast. They fended off When You Wish Upon a Star.
I'm cropping this image now so I can get a proper look along with you. Okay. To be honest, not a exactly hard path for the number 1 Walt's bench. I mean, we're in the legacy region. You're talking Walt's fucking bench, where the man himself sat and gathered these ideas for the parks that we know and love today.
A 1 seed.
So rightfully a 1 seed. I would say that some of these other teams that they have beaten may have had a better shot being somewhere else.
Yeah.
But being up in that top left side, going head to head with Walt's bench in rounds 1 through 3, it's tough, man. But we've agreed all the way to this point on Walt's bench, right?
There's been no
polls for Walt's bench.
No polls, no argument.
Okay.
Then the number 11 seed making its way all the way, that'd be the Disneyland cast members that went up against the cast members went up against the Disney Renaissance, the whole Renaissance of Disney, or the resurgence of the movies. They took out a 6 seed. Then they took out the 3 seed, the WDW opening day. Then they took out the mouse himself.
Now that was the only real upset up to that point. Cast members, to me, rightfully won out, but them upsetting the mouse himself that's just an iconic kind of battle, man. You have the mascot of the whole thing, right? TVMA.
It's
my bad.
Fucking madness. It's
I think I've already
fucking
dropped
madness.
a couple, but yeah, it's if there's a team, I said this in the beginning when we first started this, and I saw these random things that were generated. When you think about the cast members, and you could put them up against any of the other 63 teams on this list, it's a hard fight for everybody. So they're a sleeper, man. At number 11, they're a sleeper, and they're at the Elite 8, and they're up against it though, but they're strong.
Speaking of the number 8 seed, that would be the Disney Bubble. It had to go up against the number 1 itself, Cinderella's Castle. Then it went, but before it even did that, before it even got to Cinderella's Castle, it went up against the Jungle Cruise itself, where the jokes are dry and the humor is not that wet, but it took out a classic attraction.
Yeah, and it's been heavily pulled.
Yeah, this one is beaten every single poll, every poll that it's been in.
It's been beating some ass.
It went up against Main Street USA, the last poll. And I tell you what, it beat the shit out of Main
Belt
Street.
to ass.
It belts to asses, boots to asses.
Man, just mollywopped out there.
It's kicking some ass and taking some names. Then we had our number 3 seed that's going up. Pirates of the Caribbean. It has come a long, long way. It started out in doing against the parades. Disney parades.
Tough first round matchup.
That's an easy one. It's a 14 against a 3, right? But then it went up against Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, where it just beat its ass. Bad.
Another poll. And you had people voting on that were commenting saying, hey, look, we appreciate Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. We see its potential, but it's not a legacy ride quite yet like Pirates. It doesn't do it for people like Pirates does. So I was nervous for that one because I'm happy with either result, but seeing Pirates just topple Guardians, knowing how great of a ride Cosmic Rewind is, because out of the two, if I'm just me riding, I'm riding Guardians.
Yeah.
But man, good matchup.
And then hold on, we got one of my children coming out here. What's up, buddy?
Gavin doesn't have enough soap.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He'll also have to do with what he has.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Children needing shower supplies.
Yeah, children.
You know. Yeah, children. But then the heartbreak set in for me. Heartbreak Hotel. But it was a close pull. It wasn't so bad.
That was really close. Yeah.
It only came down to about, 6% of a difference?
Yeah, it was a close one.
Haunted Mansion got beat out by Pirates, rightfully so. Like I said, either way I'm okay, but it's a Heartbreak Hotel for me because Pirates is my attraction. Not Pirates, but Mansion. We all know this. However, that leads us to our 8 and our 3 seed matchup.
And if you're going to losing to Pirates,
yeah,
at least these losses for these teams are against some heavy hitters. So, but yeah, then we got into some movie stuff, man.
Movies got brutal. So, Lion King, our number 1 seed over on that side. The only 2 ones made it out, by the way. This is how they went up against the 16 against Bambi. Smacked the shit out of Bambi. Then they went up against Aladdin. Smacked the shit out of Aladdin.
Well, they went up against Tangled.
Oh, Tangled. Sorry, Tangled. My bad.
Tangled. Yeah, Tangled.
They went up against Tangled, which was the 9 seed. Smacked the shit out of Tangled. Then they smacked the shit out of the 5 seed. Aladdin, which blew my mind. And now they're facing A New Hope. Which A New Hope has struck every poll down. This is one that's been heavily polled as well. All but Curse of the Black Pearl, which we agreed on. The Star Wars, but it was a heavily polled one, and Star Wars came from beating Toy Story. Well, they started out with Moana. Then Toy Story took out a 2 seed.
I couldn't believe that. Still can't.
And then, Andy and his toys went back to Andy's mom's drawer. Is where they went.
I've seen that meme.
Yeah, that's where they went. Buzz and Woody went away. And then they took out Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah. I mean, can we just say that Star Wars came in at 7, which to me, if it's A New Hope, looking at these list of movies is kind of high for me. But to take out different segments of time of movies, like you have Moana, which is
newer,
really could have lost there.
Yeah.
Newer, and then thinking, okay, you made it past Moana, great, but can you take out OG Woody and the gang, and then to take out Toy Story? I mean, this proves that Star Wars can, if it gets past Curse of the Black Pearl, and it's staring maybe at maybe if it's staring at number 1 seed Lion King at the end of it,
they might be able to take out Lion King.
Maybe I'll take out Lion King.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We'll see.
We'll see.
Now, we get down to the food region. The food region, there wasn't a whole lot of debate. Each round was very easy. We are at the turkey leg, and the turkey leg started out against Ohana noodles. Sorry, take that back. It started out against this the school bread. It's like a bread pudding. It beat the shit out of bread pudding.
Easy.
Then went to Ohana noodles, which I could have went either way, but everybody loves a good turkey leg. Walk around and have grease dripping down your arm. That's how it works. They smacked that Ohana noodle, threw it up against the fridge to see if it was sticky, and it didn't stick. It slid down the fridge. Then we went to the number 1 seed, the Dole Whip. And emphatically, you and I both agreed, the Dole Whip didn't stand a chance.
No.
The Dole Whip became kind of like a dressing to the turkey leg.
Yep.
Then, the one that we called that would probably take this whole thing, a 7 seed, the Epcot food booths, or food booths in general, because we've had Ad nauseam talks, started out against Gaston's cinnamon roll. Now, I like a good cinnamon roll, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it's not great like Gaston.
Yeah, and it's something you can just get
anyway
at these food booths.
Uh-huh.
I mean, not Gaston's, but like probably something better.
Probably.
You know.
Then it went up against the Mickey ice cream bar. Classic number 2 went up against it. And it melted the ice cream bar.
No contest.
No contest. Then the sweet treat itself, everybody's favorite, Mickey waffles. It mollywopped those Mickey waffles into pure batter.
I gotta say, man, you know, I think Epcot food booths, the only problem I have with them is they seem like a team who recruited a center from some faraway land to come in and just carry, because they're not a food specific item like everybody else is.
No.
So they definitely have this unique kind of advantage, because you just can't say, oh, it's an ice cream bar versus the plethora of options that you're going to get.
They got the 7-foot center from Lithuania.
Yeah. They've got something cooking over there, bro. And if you were to poll, if they make it to the Final Four, and we get into the Final Four, where we're probably going to do it live, that's what we're kind of looking at, I think.
Yeah.
Whoever makes it out of the movies, they don't have an easy layup. People love their food booths, man. I mean, it's a great. I mean, let's say Star Wars makes it, you know, and they go up against Epcot food booths. That might be where they run into the most problems.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
And then what's crazy about this whole thing is, you would think Disney movies as a whole would carry everything else, because Disney's most known for their film, I would say. And they might not even be in the finals. Right. They might not be in the final game. So yeah, it's shaping up really weird. My own personal bracket was toast long ago. Toast. And I'm the one on here
burnt toast.
Burnt
toast.
We're on here picking them. So I mean, it's crazy.
No love. And the polls, guys, you might get 1 poll, you might get 2 polls, you might get 4 polls out of this. We might not agree. Actually, I do know one we're going to agree on. Let's kick this one off. We'll go up to that Disney Legacy region, my friend. That region, the 1 versus the 11. How you feeling? What do you think?
I'm so torn, bro, because I've been really hot on this cast member team all tournament long.
Me too.
And I do think they have what it takes to take out the number 1 seed Walt's bench. And you know what makes me think that is, I think that's what Walt would pick. I think Walt himself would go, now, these are the guys and gals that make the whole experience happen. But the only thing I have negative is there's no bad side to Walt's bench.
No, there isn't.
But in cast members, like we said from the jump, we got every cast member lumped into this category. So there isn't 100% track record for cast members. You definitely get some that their careers are short-lived and it wasn't for them, and they've definitely given out some bad experiences here and there across the time frame of Disney, the whole Disney experience. So I think you got to take that into consideration. But how heavily are we going to weigh that against the bench?
So here's my thoughts on it. Now, like you said, there's no downside to Walt's bench at all.
No.
It's a little old. It's a little green. But here's the thing. The man himself was a people person. He believed in people. If you look back to the studios, you look back to the early days, he had faith in the people who brought him to the dance to begin with. The movies, the animators, it was all about the people and what he wanted. When he sat down at that bench and he looked around at the park that he took his children to, it was always dirty. He made it a point in his parks to keep the parks clean. 30 feet apart, trash cans, janitorial staff, sweeping everywhere you look. It's all about people, right? Well, that bench is where all that imagination came from. Not all of it, but where the idea of these people are going to matter more than ever before. So I'm torn because...
Yeah, that leads me to this question, right?
Right.
How much are we putting on the bench? Like, the bench is a symbol of idea and of thought.
It is, yes.
But you said it yourself. How much idea and thought really went down on that bench? Now, so there was some, but I would argue the majority of it didn't happen there.
No.
It happened anywhere he was. He could have been taking a shower, having coffee, walking, but the bench is what's the iconic symbol to his thought.
Yeah.
But not the end all be all to creativity for Walt Disney.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my knee jerk is cast members.
That's where my knee-jerk lands, too. As much as I love Walt's bench, and I've seen it, I've touched it, there's an aura about it.
Yep.
I got to go cast members.
And I would agree with you before I think about it too much. I mean, like, bro, we're talking about the cast members, man.
Right.
And I did say there are some bad ones in there, but man, does a good just severely outweigh the bad. I mean, I've been a lot, and I can only count a couple of times where I've been like, and even then, it's not a terrible experience. It's just not the Disney experience,
right?
But when you get your average cast member, I'll just say average, just not like legacy or not terrible. They're exceptional, I would lean cast members for sure.
Okay, now this is where I think we might have a poll. But I don't want to have a poll because it's the same thing that you and I said we didn't want to get into. And it's the same thing I've seen every time the Disney bubble pops up. Well, it's inside the bubble, so we got to take the bubble.
No, I haven't been on that stance, though.
Neither have I. I wasn't.
I get it. And if I'm being honest, bro, I mean, I've been hot on the Disney bubble, too. I've made some valid points on why it's made it this far. But I think this is where the Disney bubble's run ends to me, because it's just there's something more intimate about certain attraction experiences over the whole experience of being in the bubble.
Right.
And it takes special attractions like Pirates, like Haunted Mansion, like Splash, to have any conversation to outweigh the experience of being in the bubble. Now, if this was like, oh, you're going to go ride, I don't know, Dumbo.
Guardians.
Or Guardians. Yeah, let's say Guardians, which is like a really popular attraction. It doesn't do it to win that argument against the Disney bubble. But Pirates, with its lore behind it, with Walt's involvement, with how it led to the movies, is definitely got something going for it. But I do have to shout out, man, the bubble. I don't even know if Walt really ever, you maybe know or not, I'm not sure, but if Walt ever even fathomed the concept of like what this would feel like to people to be inside this bubble of.
Well, all right, to some degree. So this is what it was. So when he created Disneyland, he wanted you to. So there's the berm. Everybody knows about the berm. Once you get inside the park, he didn't want you to see the outside world. Once you went, and so the idea of the bubble has kind of been there since the start, quote unquote. Because when you entered the parks, you didn't see the parking lot. You didn't see the Disneyland parking lot, which was vast in 1955. It was huge.
Has to
You
be.
you
Big ass
entered the
cars.
you entered the park. You didn't hear the outside world. You didn't see the outside world. You were immersed in the Disney lore. That's the starting of the bubble. So it's been there since the start.
Yeah, and
But-
I think Walt would be impressed,
Oh yeah,
especially at the level of Walt Disney World, of how immersive the whole place has become.
yeah,
I think he would find that very impressive and almost like dream fulfilled kind of thing. But even then, I mean, I don't think it's close to me. This is a close matchup. I
Right.
think this comes down to not being able to figure out Captain Jack and him really hitting like a late 3-pointer, similar to how the Connecticut just beat Duke.
yeah. Oh God,
Something
don't
like
even bring
that.
that up. Don't bring that up.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're a Dookie boy. So
Yeah,
man, that's a heartbreaker. But listen, look, Duke basketball. When people think college basketball, think UNC and Duke. So
yeah. No,
no
back
matter
road.
how much they lose or how much they win, they're always in the dance. So, but I think Pirates. I think Pirates moves on here, and I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, me too.
Because you're looking down the line too, and it's hard to not foreshadow, but you're also thinking to yourself, it's got to be one of these two has to go against cast members,
Oh yeah.
right? And if you keep the whole Disney bubble idea of like, oh well, it's in the bubble, then it's going to crush everything. Especially the cast members who help make that bubble process happen.
Right.
But yeah, I gotta go with Pirates.
All right. This is where it gets tough.
Moving on to movies. Should we just start at food real quick
Yes.
and end with movies, just to make it easier?
Yes. Let's do
So
that.
turkey leg. We appreciate it. You've made it to the Elite Eight. Your region is soft, but Epcot food booths. It's going to the Final Four. It's going to go up against the movie region winner. So I'm comfortable with that. I'm sure you're in the same agreement that the food booths definitely take up turkey leg.
Yep, I'm agreeing with that. 100%.
We're 3 for 3, man. Look at us.
Look at us go. 3 for 3, making it quick.
Up until now, because we're not budging. I know there's a world. Oh, you got a kid?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I had to check. Both of them were out here for a second. It happens.
Now look,
It's a
bro.
wild time in the old West tonight.
There has to be a world that you can be convinced that this movie has made it far enough. I mean, no,
One. No.
bro, it's not one of the best of the franchise.
New Hope? No,
Yeah.
I will definitely say no to that. It isn't, and it's a big one. I do think it holds up better than The Lion King, 100%, because you're getting a retelling, and I've said this before on the show, you're getting a retelling of Hamlet with The Lion King. That's all it is Hamlet. And if you guys know plays and you know Shakespeare and you know X, Y, and Z, you know exactly what I am talking about. Now, you have it's an epic drama. I'm not going to say it's not an epic drama because it's a great drama. It brings a lot to the table, right? But then you have it against the greatest space opera and sci-fi adventure that created a whole genre. It didn't retell shit. There's nothing about being retold here. Zero. No retelling. No anything. You have to
But I
think
feel
about
like you're stuck on the Hamlet thing, bro.
No, I'm
I
not
mean-
because I'll tell you this much.
You go ahead and I'll rebuttal what you
You
got.
can rebuttal.
You go ahead.
So here, look at the themes, though. Yes, the Hamlet thing that's a huge part of it. But look at the themes within it. The Lion King: responsibility, legacy, and nature. The nature of how we are as humans. I've done my research on this. This is one I sat on all week. If you can't tell, I sat on it. I thought about it. I had heart-to-hearts with myself about it. The legacy of it. It's like the legacy of living up to one's legacy. We all struggle with the idea of what our legacy is going to be in life. What are we leaving behind? and the responsibilities that come with that. But if you look with what Star Wars gave you, hope against a rebellion, against destiny. What is your destiny to become? Now, that's almost like a legacy, yeah, but the destiny of one's path, right? Now, that goes to the hero's journey, right? The idea of Simba's path to reclaiming the throne versus Luke's path to becoming a Jedi. Are they similar? A little. But one is a lot different than the other. They both lose their father in one way or the other. One has to kind of redeem his father, while the other one's brother kills his father, the father's brother. It's like a family drama. It's like that bad, like, you go into the ghetto and you see families fighting. That's what The Lion King is right there.
Okay.
And then you have to think about when Star Wars came about, sci-fi movies were B-rate, they were laughable, they were not very like, what is it? They were the second film or the first film that you saw at a movie theater. There wasn't a whole lot of good sci-fi flicks that came out. Now but if you look at the cultural impact of The Lion King, it defined what films could be for the 90s. So you look at it, it defined films for an era, like an era of a time for how things would be when the revolutionary ideas came from Star Wars. Without Star Wars, we would not have Pixar. Without Star Wars, we would not have the CGI that we got in that sign behind you, the Jurassic Park sign. Now, here's where it gets tough. I'm a big music guy. We all know this. The greatest guy to ever score any movies is John Williams. The iconic themes from Indiana Jones, from Star Wars. Then you have Elton John and Hans Zimmer. If you go, for me, if it's an emotional thing, of course you want to choose Lion King. But it's the idea of, like, the cinematic revolution, how we viewed movies to me. The way Star Wars changed the way cinema was is no comparison to how Lion King changed movies for animation in the 90s, in my personal opinion. So my verdict is going to be A New Hope takes the victory because of its overall impact, me being a movie maker, how iconic it is within pop culture. Now, here's the other caveat. They're both James Earl Jones films. So I'm saying Star Wars. That's just where I sit, and it's very hard for me to say Lion King takes this.
All right.
Uh-oh.
So,
did I convince you?
No.
Oh,
No.
damn it.
God, no. God, no.
Damn it all. I
God,
thought I
no,
did.
dude. No. I want to take my stance takes a different scope, and this scope goes from your broader range of how you explained it down to this movie was out when I was a kid.
Okay.
So was Star Wars. Nothing helped, in my opinion. This is just from my own personal way of viewing Lion King, and the reason I'm willing to, like, die on the hill of the Lion King over, like, even Toy Story. You gotta remember, Lion King is my number one Disney film of all time.
It is. I do know that.
And it's only like that because although it may be a Hamlet retell, when you're a kid, you don't know that, understand that, or care about that.
Right. No, 100%.
The lessons that Lion King helps the youth understand is second to none. I mean, you're dealing with death, not only death, but tragic death. You're crying during that movie as a kid, a teen, an adult. When Mufasa dies, it's extremely impactful. And in that moment, you're also wondering how this young Simba is going to navigate that process. And I think they do it beautifully. I think they do a great justice to people losing somebody young, showing that you can go through some grief. You can go through a little period where you're trying to ignore it. You're trying to kind of put it in the back of your mind. And then it takes a couple people that maybe you become close with, some friends, some family, whatever, to help pull you out of that rut and tackle whatever that stage of grief is that you need to get past. Now they do it in the movie by him facing Scar, the obvious, the person who murdered his father. But Scar can be anything to anybody. So I think, and I think that's something Disney needs to focus more on.
No, 100%. I can agree with that.
Is their ability to storytell. We're talking about Disney's ability to storytell versus somebody else's that they ended up acquiring, because Star Wars is not a Disney original. It is not original to Disney. It is something that they went, oh, I want to get on board with this. Rightfully so. Acquiring that section of media was huge for Disney.
Yeah, 100.
But when we're talking about the way that they told that story, and especially the time frame they did, with the resources that were available, I think it's the perfect film. I really do. And I think that you can watch that for the first time at any age and love it, appreciate it. To me, Star Wars does have that cultural impact and that legacy as a whole, and that movie was a big part of it. But The Lion King is just an emotional perfection movie that and there's a reason that both these movies are rated the same online. I think they're both 8.6s on IMDb.
They're big. Yeah.
So they're both, and that's big, because that's why this debate is so important, because it's not just we're Disney fans.
Yeah.
We're here because we're Disney fans that came together, not Star Wars fans. We're not animated film fans. We're not video producer fans. We're Disney fans, and to see that, and I'll give this as a feather in the cap of Star Wars, to have a Disney original like Lion King be rated the same as, episode. It ends up being the first one in the whole thing, but it's the fourth one that comes out.
Episode 4, yeah.
Is quite the accomplishment. So, and it's not even the best Star Wars movie.
No.
So to have the same rating is super important for this. But I think the scale for me is what does it. When I think about narrowing it down to like people's personal experiences and watching the film, Star Wars is never going to move me in the way Lion King does, even in the way like some of the princess movies, man. Like any movie that really battles with those ties that we talk about being veterans and mental health and stuff like that, Disney just has a knack for doing that. And so Star Wars may be a fantastic movie and franchise. I just don't think it has that complete. It wins in a lot of things, but it misses on what I just talked about.
I can see that. Now, this is the one thing I will pose to you. Do you think that some of there's some scenes in The Lion King? Do you not think that some of those scenes, and even a great example of it, when he's running from the gazelles? Do you not think those would not be possible without the filming that Star Wars did? And look at the trench battle when they're trying to blow up the Death Star. It's almost the same exact the way it's shot.
I don't think it's hard to comment. I mean, it's impossible to say one would be here without the other. I mean, it's very difficult to unless somebody who created Lion King says, "Hey, we used Star Wars ideas," and I don't know how to answer that. I'm just trying to think of them as standalone movies compared to each other.
Right.
Not so much like the bubble concept of
right.
If they did use stuff from them, I think they did a great job. But even the lessons what's that over there? Oh, you don't go there, man.
Right.
And as a kid, you go there because you're a kid.
Of course.
It's like all these little in the soundtrack, bro. I mean, there's no way we can compare A New Hope to A Lion King as far as soundtrack's concerned. I know you mentioned, some heavy hitters that composed Star Wars, but dude,
right.
The soundtracks just don't compare. There's no way.
No, because the Star Wars soundtrack is better than Lion King's.
There's no way.
There is.
No.
I hear more John Williams stuff in the Sphere than I do anything Lion King. Hans Zimmer's a great composer. He does a lot of great movies.
Yeah.
Elton John, phenomenal musician.
Yeah, we're talking about two different genres too of movies. I mean,
Oh yeah, of course.
you need catchy, really. I mean, for one, let me just say this: the fact that we have two movies that are as old and older than the both of us in the Elite Eight for Disney movies just shows you, in my opinion,
I'm
how
older than the Lion King.
how far a little bit movies have slipped, in my opinion, or our appreciation for movies is still stuck in our our childhood time frame.
No,
Because
of course, yeah.
I'm looking when this first came out, going Lion King and Toy Story make it to the final four, and I'll be trying to figure out how I pick which one, and it didn't go that way. So I think this needs to be a poll. This may be the biggest poll we've done so
Yeah.
far. Obviously, as a gentleman, I'm going to accept whatever outcome.
Me too. Me too.
I think that if you were to say Star Wars versus Lion King, I would easily say Star Wars. I think they picked the perfect movie here to represent Star Wars, because you could have gotten out of hand and chosen something a little bit heavier and a little bit more popular, because we're going back here with this one, because I didn't even see this in theaters, nothing like that. I was not even born when this came out, I don't think.
Right.
So
just for some perspective, since we're talking about ratings, Empire Strikes Back is 8.7.
Okay.
New Hope is 8.6. Return of the Jedi, 8.3.
Wow.
So the original trilogy, the best. I've always said that Empire Strikes Back is the best one. Had it been Lion King versus Empire, I would have fought tooth and nail for Empire over like I am right now, because Empire, in my opinion, is the best of that franchise. Now, out of the new movies that came out, it would be 7.7 for Force Awakens, 6.8 for The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Rogue One is 7.8, 7.7 on Episode 3. You have, 6.6 on Attack of the Clones. Phantom Menace was 6.5. And the Clone Wars movie was 6.0, and Solo: A Star Wars Story was 6.9. So to go up against, the second of the first of the franchise, but the second in the rating, that's a tough draw.
It's tough, but I mean, if anybody can do it, it's The Lion King.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're taking what I think is probably the most popular Disney film. It has to be up there in one of the most popular Disney films. I mean, this film is widely recognized as
it is. It
as
is.
just a pillar that holds up Disney film franchise. I mean, it's the fucking Lion King.
No, 100%.
I mean, it's the Lion King. This is like mid-30s, early 40s adults. This was their film.
You brought up the nostalgia factor of the Lion King earlier, and I remember I didn't go see it in theaters, but I remember in fourth grade we had a pizza party. It was probably right before, it was for one of the holiday breaks, probably for Thanksgiving or something crazy, and our teacher rented it from the video store when you got the VHSs, and we watched it. We watched it, and he played the soundtrack for like a week prior. Like, we got to listen to the soundtrack. We got to hear the whole thing on a brand new compact disc, a CD. It was pretty rad to do that,
Yeah.
And the idea was, it was just trying to build us up for this movie. And it was a big, don't get me wrong, it was a cultural phenomenon. And for it to be that says a lot about it. And that's the same thing with Star Wars. It was a whole way of thinking. This is something I didn't bring up earlier about Star Wars. They created the whole idea of movie toys. So a little history about this whole idea of these two movies and how they've culturally impacted everything. So the cultural impact of Lion King, it showed, like you said, it hit the, like, don't go there, don't do this. What do? You go do it. Treat people how you kind of want to be treated. Look at how Scar treated someone,
Right.
Family matters. all these different core values for kids who in the 90s probably needed some of that because a lot of us were latchkey kids. Star Wars created the whole idea of action figure to movies. That Fox, like George Lucas went and sold Star Wars. Tried to sell Star Wars to every studio, got turned down until Fox bought them. And then he took, like, he didn't take any money. He said they gave him, we'll give you merchandising rights. He found the lowliest of all the lowly toy makers that would take his product and Kenner and made more revenue than you could ever think in the world. This movie just changed the landscape all the way around. And that's why it's so hard to pick between these two movies. Because in so many ways, they changed the landscape of what they were doing at the time. And I think a poll is the best way to do this. Because, like you said,
Has to be.
Because I don't think we'll ever come to an agreement on it. I'm a Star Wars kid. You're a Lion King kid.
And that's another kid.
What's up? You may go read. I'll be in just a few minutes.
Yes.
All right. I love you.
Yeah, I think a poll is the correct way to go, and we will leave it up to the people to decide.
Yep.
And it will be our final
poll. Well, we can't say final poll because when we get to the final four,
or a final Instagram poll. That's the way the format's been. I think we're going to live stream the final four in the championship.
The final four and the championship, and you guys will have a say in how it goes. We're hopefully going to be able to find a way to put the poll up during our live. And if we don't, you can interact in the chat. We'll hype this thing up for because we're going to have to go live during the day. I think that's how it's going to have to work for these next 2 rounds.
We'll have to figure something out.
Because we need as much engagement as possible to make this happen. As much engagement.
Yeah, and if we can't, if something happens and we can't quite live stream the final four, we'll at least for sure live streaming the championship.
Yeah. But we want to make this as interactive as possible. And I think that's the best way, like you said, to do it. I think we have the final 3 teams of the final 4. We have 1 more to go, and that's to you guys in the poll. So I think this one was it's pretty easy up until the movies.
Yeah, the movies have been hard the whole time.
They really have. Because
I was on my Frozen, I was on Moana. I was,
and I think the movies have kind of gone both ways. You know, we've both gotten our say in. We've kind of gotten things that we've wanted in.
I did not expect. I mean, with the polling system, how we've been doing it is the only reason Star Wars made it this far.
And it's because of the love, like I said, the cultural phenomenon of the movie.
Right.
It's the people who grew up with it, the people who
are going to have a hard time, I think, with this one.
I think so too. I thought they were going to have a hard time when it came to Star Wars and Toy Story, and they slapped the shit out of Toy Story.
Yeah. That doesn't give me
any
confidence.
Hope. No,
it doesn't give me confidence.
You don't have a new hope.
But I do think that The Lion King is the better movie of the two between them and Toy Story. So, I think that they have a better chance against Star Wars. But if Star Wars, whoever wins this is going to go up against Epcot Food Booths in the Final Four.
That will be tough.
Which is going to be, tough. Because even if Lion King wins, it's tough for me. But if Star Wars wins, it's easy for me.
Right.
So it's just going to come down to how this poll shapes up. So
I'll ride this Star Wars train to the finals, baby.
Yeah, we better hope Star Wars doesn't make up against cast members or some shit, bro.
Oh, dude, they're going to lose. If they go up against cast members, they're going to lose.
They're going to lose.
I can already tell you. If cast members make it to the championship game round,
which
very well could be, it's going to be really hard to upset that number 11 seed.
They were my pick from the start of. Get back to our first round episode. I said when I was reading through the list, this team is the one that could make.
Well, and I agree with you.
A run to the championship, bro. Because how do you beat fucking cast members, dude?
I know. I think anybody who goes up against cast members in the championship game,
they better stretch. cheat
There's
something or steal some plays.
you think about it, the cast members have about 8 7-footers from Lithuania.
Yeah.
Barcelona. They're from Barcelona.
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 Oh, do you watch Amalfi Jets on TikTok or on anywhere? You ever heard
No,
of them?
I haven't. I got that from the movie The Internship with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson.
Oh, they have a client anyway. She's a rich girl that books private jets all the time. Amalfi Jets is a private jet company, and she always calls in and goes, "I want to get a Barcelona."
Barcelona.
He's like, Barcelona? Barcelona. It's Barcelona.
Barcelona. So that line came from Vince Vaughn and The Internship. Him and his girlfriend are having a fight.
That's a good movie.
Oh God, and it's just like that whole thing right there just kills me. Pappy Van Winkle, still one of my favorite whiskeys to this day. However, guys, we gotta get some sponsors out of here. Get out of here. We've said our piece. We got this poll coming. But Josh, you want to take it away on the sponsors, or are you good? You want me to?
I'm good.
All right. So, guys, like always, we are sponsored by his wonderful wife, Kim Dunn, over at Magic Done Right. If you need your travel needs, I'm going to Seattle here in a few days. His wife is hooking me up on a beautiful hotel right up the road from T-Mobile Park, where the Mariners play, right there by Lumen Field where the Seahawks play. I hate the Seahawks. I'm a Niners fan. But I'm staying right by the stadiums. Going to Pike's Market, doing all the fun stuff. That is going to be through Magic Done Right. Yes, we have a wonderful travel sponsor in her. Then we also have Signs of Amusement, guys. I got my ass kicked this last trivia time, and it was not pretty. But they did trivia back on the 29th of March. They do their live builds every Monday. Friday, they do ride-throughs. They do different things throughout the week. They do Monday, Friday, Saturday, and once a month, Sundays, they do trivia. So check out their website. They're over at signsofamusement.com, or check out their YouTube. Go watch some of their ride-throughs, their debates on these ride-throughs. They're great people, good friends. They interviewed me. I was in their chat like, hey, we some of the interview. I said, well, I could interview. I don't mind, because I'm a pretty interesting guy, not besides of this. And it was a pretty decent interview. It went for 2 hours. They let me go on for 2 hours, damn near, guys. 2 hours. So, senseofamusement.com. Check them out. We also have our good friend Lou over at Two Marines for Disney. Yes, Two Marines for Disney. He just got back from his excursion all around the 11 Western states. He didn't go to all 11. He hit Nevada. He hit through California. All that fun stuff. He did some camping. Went to Disneyland a couple days. Check him out if you need antiquities of any sort, Disney or other. He will do it for you. Two Marines Who Disney at gmail.com. And then, last but not least, ourselves, Operation Magic at printful.me or .printful.me. Our clothes. Yep, check. Josh is wearing the shirt right now. I left my heart in the briar patch. That's one of our very first designs. Yes, Look at that beautiful shirt. It's a great shirt. We have stuff everywhere. But some of our clothing is done by another great man by the name of Matthew O'Brien, the Skullface Project. Yes, check out the Skullface Project over on Instagram. If you need any Grateful Dead inspired Skullface stuff, he is the one to do it. Check him out. Follow him on Instagram, the Skullface Project. Buy your merch from our merch store. Again, operationmagic.printful.me. I'm tripping on but. No, it's operationmagic.printful.me. Yes, we are your friendly neighborhood unhinged duo, which we have become. That's Josh. I'm James, and we are out.
See you guys later. Vote Lion King.
Vote. All right, squad, listen up. You already know who we are. We are the Operation Magic Podcast. Disney loving, dad run, veteran built. Every week, we're here bringing you that magic straight to the veins. And now we've got something even bigger. It's official, guys. The Operation Magic merch. Those t-shirts, those hoodies, the mugs, stickers, you name it. All Disney inspired, all made for the Operation Magic squad. This isn't just gear. This is the uniform. You throw this on, you're not just a fan. You're a part of the family. Every piece supports this show, keeps the mission alive, and helps us keep bringing laughs, the stories, and the magic every single week. So what are you waiting for? Hit operationmagic.printful.me right now. Grab your gear and show the world who you are rolling with. Operation Magic. Rep the magic. Rep the squad.